Have you ever stayed silent because of your English? Have you ever felt your voice wasn't good enough? Most people give up before they find their voice. But what if your biggest weakness could become your greatest strength? This is the story of a man who was laughed at, ignored, and embarrassed for the way he spoke. But he didn't run. He didn't quit. He turned his shame into power, and now millions listen when he speaks. This is not just a story. It's a lesson. A guide to help you speak English with confidence, no matter your accent, no matter your past. Welcome to English Starline. Here we share real stories to help you grow your English skills and your personal strength. We give you English listening practice, English for beginners, and motivational stories that help you improve your English and your life. Santiago's journey will teach you more than words. It will teach you courage. Don't waste your life hiding your voice. Use it. Train it. Share it. Let's begin. Part 1. The pain of not belonging. Santiago stood in the middle of a crowded train station in Chicago. Everyone was rushing, speaking fast English, laughing, shouting, talking on phones. He understood nothing. He felt invisible. Back in Argentina, he was respected. A teacher, a good communicator. He had friends, family, and confidence. But in America, he was nobody. His accent was strong. His vocabulary was small. Every word felt like a mountain. He tried to order coffee. The cashier asked, "Sorry, what did you say 3 times?" People behind him sighed loudly. One man laughed. Santiago smiled politely, but inside he wanted to disappear. At a job interview, he spoke carefully. The manager smiled the whole time, then said, "Your accent is interesting." Santiago didn't get the job. He tried to make friends, but simple conversations became stressful. "What's up?" they'd say. He didn't know how to answer. They'd walk away. He laughed when he didn't understand, nodded when he was confused, stayed silent when he wanted to speak. Every day he felt smaller. At night he watched videos in English. He understood only half the words. He repeated sentences over and over. He felt stupid. Once at a small community event, someone asked him to introduce himself. He stood up, said his name, and someone in the back whispered, "What is he saying?" People laughed. That night, Santiago walked home in silence. His heart was heavy. His dream of living in a new country, making a better life, suddenly felt like a mistake. He looked at his reflection in a shop window. "Who am I now?" he whispered. This was not the adventure he imagined. This was survival, and it was painful. He wasn't just struggling with English. He was struggling with identity, with loneliness, with feeling like he didn't belong anywhere. But inside, something small remained. A spark. A question. What if I could change this? That question would soon change everything. Part 2. The breaking point. It was a cold Monday morning. Santiago had finally found a part-time job at a local company helping with basic admin tasks. He was quiet, worked hard, and tried to avoid speaking too much. But then came the meeting. His manager said, "Santiago, can you explain this spreadsheet to the team?" His heart started racing. His palms were wet. He stood up, looked at the screen, and opened his mouth. The words came out slow, broken, hesitant. He said, "This number is from, last week, and the profit is higher." Silence. Then one person whispered, "Does he even know what he's saying?" Another chuckled. His manager gave a tight smile. "Thanks, Santiago. Let's move on." He sat down head low. He wanted to scream. Not because they laughed, but because he knew he could do better. In Spanish, he would have explained it perfectly. But in English, he was trapped. After work, he didn't go home. He walked for hours, no music, no talking, just thoughts. He sat on a park bench and looked up at the sky. "What am I doing here?" he asked himself. "Why did I come if I can't even speak?" He thought about going back to Argentina, where people understood him, where life was simple, where he wasn't ashamed of every word. But something inside fought back. "No," he whispered. "Not like this." He thought about the years he dreamed of coming to this country, the sacrifices, the hope, the fire he once had. Maybe his English was broken, but his spirit didn't have to be. That night he made a choice. He would not run. He would not stay silent. He would not let fear win. He would learn. He would practice. He would speak. No matter how long it took, no matter how many people laughed. This was his breaking point, but also his turning point. Part 3. Turning shame into power. Santiago woke up the next morning with a different energy. He didn't feel confident. He didn't feel ready, but he felt something stronger than fear determination. He searched online for how to improve English speaking. He found channels with English listening practice, English speaking tips, and motivational stories. One channel caught his eye, English Starline. He clicked play. The voice said, "Don't wait for the right time. Start now. Speak now." Santiago paused, then replayed it, again and again. That sentence became his new rule. He began a daily routine. Every morning before work, he listened to English for 30 minutes. News podcasts, motivational videos. He didn't understand everything, but he kept going. He practiced shadowing, listening, and repeating the speaker's words out loud. At first, he sounded silly. He laughed at himself, but he didn't stop. At night, he recorded himself speaking, just 5 minutes, talking about his day, his goals, his feelings. Then he listened back. At first, it was painful, but then something changed. He heard progress. Words became clearer. Sentences flowed better. His voice, once full of fear, grew stronger. He still had an accent, but now he saw it differently. It was not a problem. It was his story. One day he read a quote. "Your accent is proof that you're brave enough to speak another language." That line hit him hard. He wrote it on a sticky note and placed it on his mirror. Every morning he read it aloud. "I'm brave. I'm learning. I'm not ashamed." He also changed how he learned vocabulary. No more boring lists. He used real conversations, real life. He watched movies with subtitles, paused, repeated, practiced, and he spoke. To himself, to neighbors, to strangers at the store. Sometimes people still asked him to repeat, but now he smiled and said, "Sure, let me say it again." The fear was still there, but it was quiet now. Santiago wasn't just learning English. He was becoming someone new, someone stronger, someone proud. He didn't want to just speak English. He wanted to speak with power, with purpose, and with heart. And that's exactly what he was becoming. Part 4. Speaking with Purpose. Santiago felt ready for the next step. He had improved his English alone, but now he needed to speak in front of real people. His hands still shook when he imagined it, but he clicked. Join on a local group Toastmasters, a public speaking club. At the first meeting, he sat in the back, listened, watched. People spoke with confidence, clear, funny, strong. Santiago felt small again. But when the leader asked, would anyone like to try introducing themselves, his hand moved up. He stood up, heart pounding. "My name is Santiago. I am from Argentina. I came here to learn, to grow, and to speak better English." Silence. Then applause. Warm smiles. A man gave him a thumbs up. He sat down breathless, but smiling. That moment changed everything. He started attending every week, gave short speeches, made mistakes, forgot words. But people listened. They clapped. They encouraged him. He started telling stories about his life, his struggles, his country. One woman cried during his speech. Another man said your accent makes your message even more beautiful. That night, Santiago had an idea. What if I help others like me? What if I share my journey? He opened his laptop, created a YouTube channel, named it Speak Brave English. His first video was shaky, just his phone and a quiet room. He spoke about how scared he used to be, how people laughed, how he trained his voice one word at a time. He uploaded it, went to sleep. The next morning, 132 views, 4 comments. This is my story too. Thank you, I needed this. Your English is beautiful. His heart exploded. He made more videos. Simple tips, real stories, encouragement. He spoke slowly, clearly, with heart. His channel grew. 1,000 subscribers, 10,000. He wasn't perfect, but he was real. People didn't care about his accent. They cared about his honesty, his strength, his journey. Every video he made helped someone, and every comment helped him. Santiago was no longer the quiet man in the back of the room. He was a voice, a leader, a teacher. He had found his purpose, and it started with a decision to speak. Part 5. Inspiring Millions. One morning, Santiago opened his email and saw a message with the subject invitation to speak. It was from a school in Texas. They had watched his videos. The students, many of them immigrants, were deeply inspired. They wanted him to come speak live. He stared at the screen. Him speaking in front of hundreds of students in English. Fear whispered again, but courage answered louder. Yes, he replied. A month later, he stood on a stage, microphone in hand, lights shining, hundreds of eyes watching. He took a deep breath. When I came to this country, I was scared to speak. People laughed at me. I almost gave up. But I didn't. And that's why I'm here today. The room was silent, listening, feeling every word. He told his story. The coffee shop shame, the job interview pain, the moment he almost quit, and the power of choosing to speak anyway. When he finished, the room exploded in applause. Some students stood up clapping. A teacher wiped her eyes. After the speech, students lined up to meet him. One girl hugged him and said, "Now I'm not afraid of my voice." That night, he posted a short clip from his speech. It went viral. Over 1 million views in 3 days. His channel exploded. He was invited to speak at conferences, schools, even business events. He was no longer just learning English. He was using it to teach, to lead, to lift others. He received messages from around the world. I watched your video before my first interview. Your story gave me hope. You helped me stop hiding my accent. Each message was a reminder this was bigger than him. Santiago wasn't famous because of perfect grammar. He was famous because of his truth, his courage, his heart. He had turned every insult into fuel, every failure into fire, every doubt into purpose. The man who was once too scared to order coffee now spoke to millions. And he did it by speaking like himself. Not perfect, not polished, but powerful. Because your voice doesn't need to be flawless to be heard. It just needs to be real. Conclusion: your voice matters. Years later, Santiago was invited back to the same office where he once failed that painful meeting. This time not as an employee, but as a guest speaker. Some of the same people were still there. One of them approached him after his talk and said, "I remember when you spoke here before. You've changed." Santiago smiled. "I didn't change. I grew. That's the truth." He didn't erase his accent. He embraced it. He didn't wait for confidence. He built it. He didn't let the world decide his value. He proved it. And now so can you. Maybe you've been quiet, afraid to speak, embarrassed by your mistakes. Maybe people laughed at your English, or ignored you, or made you feel small. But remember this. Your voice has power. Your story has meaning. Your accent is not a problem. It's a symbol of your journey. You don't need to speak like a native to speak with confidence. You don't need perfect grammar to make an impact. You just need one thing: courage. Start today. Watch English Starline. Practice daily. Speak aloud. Learn simple sentences. Repeat them. Share them. Use them. Turn English practice into self-respect. Turn English listening into English speaking. Turn fear into fluency. Every great speaker was once afraid. Every confident person started with doubt. You're not behind, you're just beginning. Don't waste your life being silent. Don't wait for permission to grow. Speak, grow, shine. This is English Starline, where your voice becomes your strength, where your English becomes your freedom, where your story becomes someone else's hope. Keep learning, keep speaking, and never forget your voice matters.
Thanks for watching English Starline. Subscribe now to keep learning English through the amazing stories of famous lives.